Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sparkin over Broncos, the show where we spark conversation about our Denver Broncos. I am your host, Gage Madrid. Before we jump in, be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss another upload. We are on the road to 600 subscribers, so be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. It is the easiest way that you can support the channel. Today, we are back with yet another Denver Broncos positional breakdown video. Yesterday, I talked about our safety room in depth, so you can click the little card above to check out that video if you'd like. Today, we are going to stay in the secondary and dive into the cornerback room for the Denver Broncos. So let's just get into it. So here we have the Broncos cornerback unit, and they are divided into two categories. Boundary corners, who do most of their work outside the hashes, and slot defenders, who are going to see the field when the defense is in nickel or dime personnel. The reason that I have them grouped separately is because they are two completely different positions with completely different responsibilities. In my opinion, it's time to stop classifying boundary corners in the same positional category as slot defenders for the reasons stated above. Same with off-ball linebackers and edge rushers, but I digress. Beginning with boundary corner, the Broncos have their two starters set in stone with Pat Surtain and Ronald Darby. Behind them, we have two players who are looking to compete for the primary backup role at boundary corner with Michael Ojemudia and Bless Austin. Surtain, the former 9th overall pick in 2021, will be looking to build on a rookie season that saw him already begin to establish himself as one of the best in the game. Former All-Pro corner Richard Sherman said that Surtain's film last season was rookie teaching tape. Surtain showed flashes of being a lockdown corner in the NFL as a rookie. He was graded by Pro Football Focus as the 39th best out of 115 eligible corners last season, which was the highest mark amongst all rookies. He was also named to the Pro Football Writers Association's all-rookie team as a result of his performance. The hope is that next season, Surtain will be able to take his game to the next level and establish himself as a top corner in the league. Starting opposite Surtain at the boundary corner position will be 8-year veteran Ronald Darby. Darby will be entering his second season in Denver after signing a 3-year, $30 million deal with the team last season. Prior to his time with Denver, Darby had stints with the Bills, Eagles, and Commanders, winning Super Bowl 52 with Philly in 2017. Darby was serviceable for the Broncos last season, but his play didn't quite live up to his $10 million salary. Darby received a 58.7 Pro Football Focus coverage grade last season, which ranks 79th out of 115 eligible corners. The Broncos' secondary last season had multiple miscommunications, especially early on, resulting in blown zone coverage. Off the top of my head, I remember Darby being responsible for at least 2 of these busts last season, but the number could be even higher than that. Another concern with Ronald Darby is his health. He has only played in one complete season to date, which was his 2020 season with Washington. Last season, Darby missed 6 games with shoulder and head injuries. If history repeats itself, there is a good chance that Darby will miss at least 1 game next season. This is why it will be critical to have depth at boundary corner in the event that this happens. The Broncos currently have 2 players who are competing to be the primary backup at the boundary corner position in Michael Ojemudia and Bless Austin. Ojemudia will be entering his 3rd season in the Mile High City after being drafted in the 3rd round of the 2020 draft out of Iowa. Ojemudia struggled quite a bit as a rookie, being graded by Pro Football Focus as the 106th out of 121 eligible corners in 2020. He was looking to take a step forward in 2021 and was having a pretty good camp. Unfortunately, he suffered a pretty significant hamstring injury in the preseason that caused him to miss most of 2021. Ojemudia finally got on the field week 17 against the Chargers, and he made his first and only start of the 2021 season in the finale against the Chiefs in place of an injured Ronald Darby. Ojemudia played pretty well in that game, recording 11 total tackles and posting a PFF coverage grade of 77.0. Assuming that he can stay healthy in the 2022 season, he figures to be the favorite to become the primary backup at the boundary corner position. Competing with Ojemudia will be fourth-year man Bless Austin. Austin spent his first 2 seasons with his hometown New York Jets after being drafted in the 6th round in 2019 out of Rutgers. Austin found his way into the Jets starting lineup as a rookie, recording 6 starts in the back half of the season. After spending 2020 as a starting boundary corner for the Jets, he was surprisingly released coming out of training camp last season after he failed to mesh with new head coach Robert Saleh's defensive scheme. After his release from the Jets, Austin signed with the Seattle Seahawks for the 2021 season, where he didn't really log much playing time. Austin only logged 149 defensive snaps for the Seahawks, making 1 start, where his play was less than inspiring. He posted a dismal PFF coverage grade of 51.9 last season. Austin now comes to Denver with the hopes of reviving his career. He has played well previously with the New York Jets, so there is something there with Bless Austin. It's going to be interesting to see if he can push Michael Ojemudia for the backup boundary corner spot. In my opinion, there is a legitimate chance that Austin could beat out Ojemudia, so it's going to be something to watch in training camp and in the preseason. Moving on to the slot defender position, free agent signee K'Waun Williams is in line to be the starter. I made a full-length video breaking down K'Waun Williams when we signed him, so you can check out that video by clicking the little card above if you're curious about the role he is going to play in Denver. Currently, the direct backup to Williams at the slot defender position figures to be 2022 4th-round draft pick Damari Mathis out of Pitt. Mathis brings a similar skill set as K'Waun Williams. They are both smaller slot defenders who bring value covering the smaller, twitchier slot receivers. They also both bring talent to the table as blitzers from the nickel position. As a rookie, Mathis has the potential to see the field in dime packages, or packages with 6 defensive backs on the field. The Broncos figure to be in dime quite a bit defensively this season, so Mathis could see some significant snaps as a rookie. Behind Williams and Mathis, we have third-year man Essane Bassey. Bassey signed with the Broncos as an undrafted free agent in 2020 out of Wake Forest. He ended up making the active roster as a UDFA. Bassey showed some promise as a slot defender when he got playing time as a rookie, but unfortunately, he tore his ACL in week 13, which not only ended his 2020 season, but also kept him on the PUP list for most of the 2021 season. Bassey was waived by the Broncos after being activated from the PUP list, and before they could re-sign him to the practice squad, he was claimed by the Chargers off waivers. Bassey finished the 2021 season with the Chargers, where he was subsequently waived at the end of the year and claimed by the Broncos. Bassey is hoping to stick in Denver this time around. I would imagine that Denver is going to carry around 5 to 6 corners on their active roster, so unless Bassey can make a strong impact on special teams, his best bet may be practice squad next year. Rounding out our slot defender room, we have 3 additional players who are likely going to be competing for a spot on the practice squad. Starting off with Faion Hicks, he was the last player selected by the Broncos in the 2022 draft, at pick 232 overall out of Wisconsin. Just like most 7th round picks in the NFL, the Broncos took a flyer on Hicks' upside with the hopes that he can develop into something for them. Competing with Hicks will be 2022 undrafted free agent Jaquan McMillan, who is a player that I am quite intrigued by. McMillan was a player who was projected to be drafted in the later rounds, so the fact that he went undrafted is a bit of a surprise. The Broncos have a strong chance to continue their streak of at least one undrafted player making the 53-man roster, and there is a good chance that McMillan could be that player. Finally, we have 4th-year man Donnie Lewis, who has bounced between the Bengals and Browns practice squads the past 2 seasons. Lewis could make a push for the practice squad here in Denver, but he has some pretty stiff competition. So unless he shows something really special in training camp and the preseason, he may have a tough time sticking around here in Denver. So overall, much like the safety position, I feel that we have a very well-rounded cornerback unit. Our 3 starters are set in stone, and behind them we have a very healthy competition that should fill out both the 53-man roster and the practice squad. I think that some of our best depth is in the secondary, so should injuries happen back there, I am very confident in who will be replacing our starters. But I'm curious, Broncos country, do you feel the same way about our secondary as I do? Drop those comments down below, I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss another upload. And while you're at it, be sure to check out my second channel, Denver Broncos Syndicate, I would really appreciate it. And for now, this has been another episode of Sparkin' Over Broncos, the show where we spark conversation about our Denver Broncos. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.